Federal workers, Madam Speaker, are literally the backbone of our government. They support our troops on the battlefield and take care of our veterans when they return home. They protect our borders, safeguard our food supply, ensure that seniors receive their Social Security checks, and hunt down terrorists like Osama bin Laden. They carry out each and every federal program, service, and initiative Congress has created. Despite the critical nature of the services that federal workers provide, the majority believes that their pay should be frozen for yet another year, that their retirement benefits should be slashed, and that the size of the federal workforce should be reduced sharply, even though it is smaller now than it was under Presidents Reagan and George H.W. Bush. Federal workers have already made tremendous sacrifices to address our nation's budget deficits. The 2-year pay freeze to which they are currently subject will save taxpayers $60 billion. Further, federal workers face the possibility of layoffs and furloughs in coming years as automatic spending reductions mandated by the Budget Control Act of 2011 reduce agency budgets for salaries. The only workable solution to our country's budget deficit is a balanced one that includes shared sacrifice, including from the wealthiest among us. To date, however, the Republican majority has yet to bring before this House a single bill that would require millionaires and billionaires to contribute more toward deficit reduction. Instead, they are preoccupied with taking money out of the pockets of middle-class public servants. For these reasons, last week, I led 17 members in sending a letter to conferees working on extending the payroll tax cut, urging them to reject any and all measures that would disproportionately harm federal workers. And I will continue to oppose any measure that would further cut federal employee pay or benefits. Madam Speaker, I'm disappointed but not surprised, given the way the majority has run the House, that we are now considering this bill under regular order. Instead, the majority introduced the bill on Friday in a pro forma session and is now rushing it to the House floor before any action by appropriate committees can be taken. I'm also disappointed that this measure was placed on the suspension calendar, thereby blocking any amendments to the underlying legislation. Finally, I am disappointed that this bill unfairly links the pay of federal employees to the pay of members of Congress, and I strongly support Mr. Van Hollen's bill. The merits of pay increases for federal workers should be debated separately from our consideration of the pay of members of Congress. In short, this bill appears to be disingenuous and disrespectful, and a disrespectful attack against federal workers and the regular order of the House. For all these reasons, I strongly urge members to oppose the bill, and I call on the House leadership to allow us to consider legislation through regular order that does not punish federal workers in order to score political points. And I continue to reserve.